service vehicle, the mainstay of the New Zealand Army until replaced by the RL veteran. The New Zealand Army stopped using the GMC in 1968. The second GMC here is a 6x6 hardback. This one is extremely proud and was released from the Dutch Army in 1992. It has been in New Zealand for 3 months. New Zealand Army had about 1,500 of these vehicles, which were replaced by the Unimog. A 1970 International ACCO 6x6 Australian assembly truck. New Zealand Army had many of these, and this one belonged to the 4th Canadian Legion from Hamilton and would have towed a 5.5-inch gun. These vehicles were used in Vietnam. Unimog 1700 GS truck, the modern workhorse of the New Zealand Army. And finally, 2 late model V8 Land Rovers. Approaching now is the 65th Regiment Reenactment Group based in Cowett Historical Village, Whakarangi. Established 2 years ago, the group aims to reenact the life and routines of regular Imperial soldiers in New Zealand and display Victorian soldiery. Here they represent the 2nd Yorkshire Horse Riding Regiment of Foot, which arrived in New Zealand in 1846 and remained in the colony until 1865. As such, it was the longest stationed Imperial regiment to serve in New Zealand. They are accompanied by a lone Māori warrior, Corporal Kawati Brown, who represents the Māori who fought against his troops in the Indian Wars. They are followed by the World War II Historical Reenactment Society, formed in March 1995, the year of the 50th anniversary celebrations of the Second World War. To your front is the contingent from Dilworth School. The Dilworth group is represented by one of 4 colour houses. At the school, these being Tyrone, Aha, the Gunnon, and the group present today, Donegal. Before you is the New Zealand Cadet Force contingent, represented by the City of North Shore and City of Waitakere Cadet units. New Zealand Cadet Forces comprise the Sea Cadet Corps, New Zealand Cadet Corps, and the Air Training Corps. The Cadet Force is voluntary, disciplined, uniform training organisation for youth thinking about joining the New Zealand Defence Force. En route to march are veterans and ex-members of the battalion. They comprise Battalion Regimental Association members and returned servicemen of our antecedent battalions 18, 21 and 24 who served in World War II.
Would you please be seated?
Councillors and citizens of the City of Auckland, being sensible of the honourable record and traditions of the 3rd Battalion, Auckland, Countess of Ranfurly's Own and Northland Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment, and being desirous of recognising, cementing and fostering the intimate association which is now and has for so long been enjoyed between the city and the regiment, in which so many of its sons have been proud to serve. Now therefore, the mayors and councillors of the City of Auckland do hereby confer about the said 3rd Battalion, Auckland, Countess of Ranfurly's Own and Northland Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment the right and privilege, without further mission being obtained, of marching where such processions are approved, with drums beating, band playing, colours flying, bayonets fixed and swords drawn through the streets of the City of Auckland, and do hereby accept the honour of viewing the 3rd Battalion, Auckland, Countess of Ranfurly's Own and Northland Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment once in each year for the purpose of an inspection by His Worship the Mayor.
glasses first, Daniel. Just before I start my formal speech, might I say how splendidly the men and women of the 3rd Battalion have turned out today. And Lieutenant Colonel Garcia, well done to you and your men and women. I would like to acknowledge a number of people, very important people in our Defence Forces who are with us today. Deputy Chief of General Staff, Brigadier Ottaway, welcome. Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Jordi Garcia, and all former commanding officers of the 3rd Battalion who are with us today. Honorary Colonel Brigadier McGregor, the Territorial Force Advisor Brigadier Edward Dean, officers in other ranks of the 3rd Battalion of Auckland, the Countess of Ranfurly's Own, and Northland of the Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment, Assistant Commissioner of New Zealand Police, Mr. Bruce Scott, and representatives of the Royal New Zealand Air Force, Air Commodore Gavin Howes. And particularly I'd like to welcome our very special guest, the 3rd Battalion's oldest former member, at 101 years of age, Colonel Laurie Blythe of Herne Bay, and his daughter Margaret. Colonel Blythe, lovely to have you with us. The battalion's first colours will be handed to the Auckland War Memorial Museum for restoration and safekeeping. The 3rd Battalion traces its roots to the volunteer companies formed in 1845. It has strong links with the College Rifles Rugby Club and the Queen Street store Smith & Coe, which both had companies of volunteer soldiers in 1898, and with school cadets at King's College, Dilworth, Auckland Grammar and Mount Albert Grammar. In its first 100 years, the regiment has provided trained soldiers to serve with New Zealand Expeditionary Forces in Gallipoli, Palestine, the Middle East, North Africa, Europe and the Pacific, earning the right to proudly carry the 21 battle honours emblazoned on the regiment's flag. Since World War II, the Auckland Regiment has continued to provide volunteers to regional conflicts such as Malaysia, Borneo and Vietnam, and continues a superb presentation today. And thank you all, both personally and as a unit within our Defence Force, for your presence here today, which signals your readiness to serve your city and country.
The irony is that while we all abhor violence, the world is no safer now than it has ever been before. Nuclear destruction again confronts us, as does insecurity from dictatorial excesses. Those that do not heed history will be forced to relive it, and as unfortunate as it may seem, in peace we must train for war. Our armed services are an essential service no less relevant than those we rely on daily for our domestic security, and as such are worthy of support and recognition. The most tangible form of support is the provision of the resource that is necessary for their establishment and training. The Territorial Force in particular, and this battalion, is a unique part of the armed force in that it operates entirely within the community and is dependent upon that community's support. The support that the soldiers of this battalion receive from their family and from their employers is a valuable contribution, as are many others. The return for such service is the development of interpersonal skills and leadership, so evident in the bearing and discipline of those on parade and before us today. The history celebrated today extends from the volunteer.
Efficiency Medal was also instituted by His Majesty King George V by royal warrant on the 23rd of September 1930. The Efficiency Medal and class are rewards to warrant officers, non-commissioned officers and soldiers for long and meritorious service of proved capacity in the territorial force of the New Zealand Army. A warrant officer, non-commissioned officer and soldier, in order to be eligible for the award of the medal, shall have completed 12 years continuous efficient service and a class.
Doesn't need much practice.